There were some times where it was perfectly legal to shoot anyone carrying an RPG, and I had shot a man carrying one, and then they sent a boy out to pick it up. I was well within my rights to take the shot, and I know, he's picking it up to hand it back off to someone else to use against us. Just that day I couldn't take the shot.
That America's most lethal sniper, retired Navy SEAL Chris Kyle, who joined us on this program a few weeks back. He explained how he decided whether or not to take out a target. It's a process that he says he learned, in part from our next guest, who for 3 years helped run the Navy Sniper Training Program. A former Navy SEAL himself, his new book tells the story of how he went from a California surfer to one of America's most elite soldiers. With us now is retired Navy SEAL Brandon Webb, former course manager for the Navy SEAL Sniper Program. He is author of the New York Times bestseller, The Red Circle, My Life in the Navy SEAL Sniper Corps and How I Trained America's Deadliest Marksman. Brandon, it's a real pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dylan. I'm a fan of the show.
What are we missing? In other words, our military capabilities are world-class. The training that you have been through and that you administrate is without parallel. Our capacity to uniquely identify targets and address them through the very techniques that you teach is extraordinary. What could we learn about what those capabilities to better both be more respectful of them and also use them more effectively?
Well, I think what I talk about in the book is really, what goes into making up the Chris Kyles, who wrote American Sniper, and the Marcus Luttrells of the world. Just the tremendous sacrifice that these individuals make on a daily basis, and the impact it has back at home with their families as well. I try and really convey that in the book, and it's just the tremendous sacrifice that not only the SEALs make, but the broader picture is the everyday warfighter. But in the training that these guys get, the Navy SEAL Sniper Program is one of the best in the world. Not a lot of people even realize that the SEAL community has their own course. It's 3 months in length, and it's really like going to, getting a Harvard MBA. We spend so much time with these snipers and train them and introduce the technology. These guys are plugging in firing formulas that account for the spin of the earth, the Coriolis effect, and the shots that these guys make on a daily basis all over the globe are just incredible. From the Maersk, Alabama incident to these guys taking shots at over a mile away at enemy in Afghanistan.
The biggest sacrifice that you have had to make, that those that you have trained and are your brothers in this have had to make, that the rest of us may not either be aware of or don't fully appreciate?
For me, I think 9/11 affected us all very differently. But I came home from a morning workout, saw the second plane hit the towers, and knew that I was going to be in Afghanistan and missed the birth of my son, my first son. So, I was in the caves hunting bad guys in Afghanistan when my son was born. So, those situations happen. I don't regret serving the country. I would do it all over again. But, that was a big reason I wrote this book, was to harness and record all these life lessons and stories for my own family, so later on in life they can pick up a book and go, okay, that's why Dad wasn't at my Little League game on Saturday. He was out doing meaningful stuff to protect the country.
As you know, less than 0.5% of the people in this country have served in the Army or the military over the course of the Afghanistan war. My personal view is that has created a tremendous disconnect between the domestic American culture and people who, like yourself, who have engaged on our behalf in this conflict. Do you agree with that assessment? And in either way, what can we do as a culture today to help all of our returning veterans remain a prized portion of our society?
You know, it's a complicated subject. You know, you get into the disconnect between the broader American culture and the current conflicts that we're facing. I mean, it's incredible that we have more people vote for American Idol than in our own presidential elections. But I think me as a former warfighter and a veteran, you know, it's just really telling the American people to really pay attention to the politicians that we put in office, because, you know, Afghanistan has turned into quite the mess, in my opinion, and you know, we really need to start focusing on root causes more than treating the symptoms of terrorism. Like, what are the situations, the social and political environments that produce the Bin Ladens of the world, and really start focusing on that. And you know, I think the veteran, the issue that you brought up around the veterans, it's, you know, there are veterans coming back doing great things, and these guys, they don't want or need handouts, but I think just the basic appreciation for the service is enough. And you know, I was in New York a couple weeks ago, and I love New York, and everyone I met was just fantastic and thanked me for my service. And I just replied, look, I enjoyed every minute of it. I sleep well at night and would serve this country again in a heartbeat.
Well, it was a pleasure to see you when you were here in person. I know you didn't get on television that day. I don't know if something happened. It is a delight to see you again on remote. Is the image behind you fake right now or real?
No, it's. I think they've got some type of image that they're piping in from outside. But yeah, I'm not suffering in San Diego, that's for sure.
All right. Well, as long as you're not suffering, we'll be fine. The book is what we're here to talk about. It's called The Red Circle. It's on the bestseller list. That's the author. You were just listening to him, Brandon Webb. The subtitle on the book, My Life in the Navy SEAL Sniper Corps and How I Trained America's Deadliest Marksman. Congrats not only on your service, and thank you for your service, but congrats on writing this, and congrats on its commercial success, which means people are hearing your story. So across the board, thank you, Brandon.
Thanks, Dylan.